You look at the Sigmas, you look at the Malgas, you look at the Rams, that's his hero pool. Very easy to abuse, not just in the tank bans, but also the support bans. And then you start taking away really strong individual picks with VP, like the Ashe as well. That can only happen once, though, if Fnatic want to get rid of it now instead of later.
Alrighty, well, looks like everything has been taken care of over on the stage, so we will get ready to have battle commence here between these two squads and see if Virtus.pro can very much flip our expectations upside down, because of course, you know, we talk a big game. We talk about all of this talent that is there on Fnatic, and while it's true, it does feel like they should have the upper hand here. There's still plenty of talent on the side of VP.
And actually look at what Gala's picking here, because that's one of his main picks is the Illari. He flashed it for a moment there, going back over towards the Lucio, but expect that the double flex support does come out soon for VP. In fact, Gala might just speed and go towards the Illari right now. That actually might be the case. There it is.
Well, looks like still going to be a lot of, you know, a lot of attention paid here as far is concerned. So Viper going to be taking the Sky's knife there down low. So somewhat of a mirrored matchup as far as the DPS and the tanks are concerned. Very different approaches over the supports.
We didn't see Riyadh play any D.Va in the face of qualifiers as well to get over towards the Esports World Cup. So this is going to be a bit of a new look for us in the opening match of the World Cup itself. Fnatic, as you mentioned, basically playing the same thing, but it's far into the Echo Shockwave. Great pick on that. Great read that Viper may, in fact, come through on the fire, so they have at least some sort of counter.
Matrix getting to eat there on that Bionade, so no connection going to be found. Now under a little bit of fire, but looks like Widely will be okay. Rajaro going to be slept for a brief moment, naturally wake up, but Legion had already been taken down as the rockets flew across, so good opening kill here for the set of Virtus.pro. Also get themselves that first cap. Meg will be broken down. Just pistoling away, trying to see what kind of damage he could deal. Dodges down on the second rocket. Looks like he might just be able to keep him sustained long enough to be able to pistol his way back in, but no, Knife manages to hound down that Baby D.Va, finds the elimination. Now it's going to be the man advantage here for the set of Fnatic.
Well, Fnatic have to go and cap. They lose Attack's mech as well, and Attack actually survived for a long time. He had his mech and now instantly has it broken. Nano's available, but who do you go for? Knife is the only available character. There he is.
Well, Knife will be good for another one as that Nano boost is going to be put here onto the Tracer. Not something that we do see very often, but can be quite effective. And for now, they're pressuring this out, but Recontest is going to be coming through the swoop down here from Rajaro, just keeping this contested, keeping them in the advantage, and also finding Legion once again. 2 for 2 on picks here onto Lucio, and that's going to be VP holding on to the point now, pressing past 45%.
Well, I think trading for Shockwave is really good here, but can Fnatic actually push up without the Lucio? It's 4v4 regardless of what's happening. Ultimates are mainly on the side of VP. That's stick from Knife.
Great
Canale
stick.
Down.
Yeah, Canale down. Immortality field cleared up on the backside of that one. Now Gala going to be eliminated as well as Attack rejoins the fray. Flip still not there though. Fnatic once again needing to pressure at this point. A little bit of an increased delay there from the side of Sona. We'll just go ahead and try to just inch past with every single percentage they could possibly get. And overall, this is still a really good position for Virtus.pro.
Huge amount of kills from Knife. And Knife actually didn't have a recall there. Survives on barely any HP. And for Fnatic to wait this long to be able to get that flip is, I mean, that's going to be taxing for sure, especially in a situation with VP still have ultimates, one of them being used now.
Captive Sun being pressured out here over towards the spawn. A little bit more damage with Tikka Izayaki, and there it is. The burst comes through. Gala will be able to find that kill, but it's a trade out. They lose out on their own Baptiste, but Knife now finally going to be felled. Dulled up a bit. As the kill comes in, Attack going to be forced to use his self-destruct to try to get himself back into the mech. Comes into the corner, just a sliver of HP remaining, pulls bomb on the back end, and Attack immediately going to be broken out of it once more. Self-destruct, no value at all. Shockwave right back into the Echo form. We'll be able to go ahead and help finish off that Baby D.Va. Flip getting ready to come back through once again here for the side of VP.
So many options with Shockwave there. He didn't even have to go for, you know, the recall. He could have just died in the duplicated form and gotten the kill either way, but yeah, Attack was done for. Point flip back over. VP now looking for the 99. BJ gone down, waiting for the respawn. Izayaki looking over towards the Nano. It's going to be Brig, and I think I kind of prefer this, but honestly, if you're dying on Lucio, you're probably dying on Brig as well. Legion currently the target. Fnatic have to keep him alive. Nano, who's the target? Probably Viper or Attack would be the main two, unless CJ is under pressure.
Well, it's going to be for Viper here. Does have that dupe ready to go. Yeah, Matrix set up there onto the high ground. Beam coming across, and Gala going to be taken down, but Knife traded out. Sona's able to find that kill now. Just dupe here onto the Baptiste, trying to stay alive. The Mortality Field is going to be slapped down. Trying to build up towards that Amp Matrix, but it's a slow build here for Viper as he nearly gets broken out of this one. 6 seconds remaining. Should just about be able to build this one up, as Rajaro will end up falling. And it seems like Flip can come through, finally clearing the point here are Fnatic, but they have all the work in the world to do.
I think just the Brig Ana combination is just so more clear-cut in terms of the play style. You don't really see Lucio Ana too often these days. Brig Ana is the classic dive combination on the back line. But Fnatic didn't have to drain the ult bank for that. VP still have a good fight or two to play through that they can afford to lose before we hit double 99s, but do you have a considerable lead that they want to push towards a victory right now if they can? Gala nearly looking over towards ultimate. Sauna already has it, pressuring point, has to be a touch. Here we go, Fnatic play.
Attempt at the back cap, pulse bomb out. Sana unable to find the stick, cannot get the kill, but still some damage taken from the side of Fnatic. Just looking to try to find some stability here in the HP bars. Canal, however, going to be taken down. Attack, finding Shockwave. Flip is there. Virtus.pro gain control for a brief moment, but can they actually try to close it out? Captain Sun will once again find Izayaki. He falls, but Viper hounds him down. Second kill, as both supports now going to be eliminated from the side of Fnatic. But break here onto the back. The counter flip can come back through. Fnatic will hold on, but they need these supports to rejoin.
And the problem is, Fnatic kind of technically won this right. They won all the fights, but they didn't have the cap. It was a flip from VP, as you mentioned. Because of that, Fnatic is still at 75. There's still one more fight. Fnatic should have been 99 already. Unfortunate for them. As we look over towards a second round of good ultimates from Fnatic, this time they should be able to keep this lead there. You're looking towards a potential Fnatic 1 first round here.
3, nearly 4 ults as Knife tries to get that pulse bomb online, but again, Gullet swinging around the back, just looking to draw some pressure away from the alley, pull them towards the point, but Sana getting the better of Knife. He gets taken down. Viper diving into the back line, clears up the immortality kill, is able to find the enemy Baptiste, rally rolling for Legic on as well to try to keep everybody else alive. Self-destruct, built up, recall going to be popped. Sana keeps himself elusive, keeps himself in the fight, but Riyadh nearly being pressured out. Canal now going to be swapping over onto Lucio just to be able to rejoin a little bit faster. Attack broken out. It's going to be self-destruct, going to be sent here from the side of Fnatic, and Attack can safely get back into the back to try to continue this one, but the flip is in. VP once again in control. Onus on Fnatic to try to clear out the point. Knife under pressure, down below half HP, finished off for Jar, swooping in from behind, managing to take him out. Viper with a dupe, goes for the trace of the pulse bomb, nearly going to be built up now, has it at the ready, but can he find a target? They can't find the point.
Okay.
They completely get scattered to the winds, and BP will seal away the opening round of downtown.
They just didn't have enough players alive. You'd say it's probably Viper's job. He was the duplicated tracer there, but he was hunting for players to get the pulse bomb. We're looking at the pulse bomb Prince of Viper to get that flip in terms of player numbers. Could not find it. And as the point goes the way of VP, yeah, Fnatic just, they didn't have enough point control to be able to do too much there. I want to highlight something really good that VP did in that final fight, which is that Shockwave got the duplicate on towards the Brig, and because he had that, the fact that they lost, I believe it was Canale died, they still had healing because, watch this, Gala was pressured out. He went for the solo flank touch, remember this, then he was pressured out, which meant Canale was the only support for a while. He died, and there were no supports effectively while Gala was sort of still rotating and Canale's respawning. So Shockwave being on the duplicated Brig is, in my opinion, what keeps VP competitive in that final fight. That's the situation we just saw there that I'm talking about, and even finds Rally towards the end there as well, I believe.
Really solid starters. Okay, we're just straight to the action actually over here on Mecha Bases. We do have Knife coming out the gate with the Venture, and Shockwave going to be taken down to the cast. Attack now playing out on the jungle. Queen gets the knife across. Gala going to fall. And, well, we didn't quite see the beginning of it, but it's Fnatic very handily winning the opening fight.
Interestingly enough, we were playing on the coast side. Usually teams like to roll out on the main side, like this left-hand area here. So somehow we ended up on towards coast. Fnatic are the type of team where, you know, no Kiriko available. Lucio Bab has to be the next available option. You want to rush down. You want to play really quickly. You have the Venture to all in here as well. Nice kind of being blocked by the creature.
Are you saying rush down? They're pushing up towards the spawn room doors here once again, just trying to zone them back under a bit of fire. Shockwave similarly getting tagged low. Immortality field going to be cleared out. Viper going to be sunned up there for a brief little moment. He will just about be able to survive as Knife burrowed into the ground. Walled off, does manage to escape. Counter push coming through now as Virtus.pro start advancing forward. The Amp Matrix is there, and Legion immediately takes out Sana. Right click to go ahead and finish him off. Their own Amp Matrix going to be invested here, but they have to be able to win out on this fight. Gala finding one Shockwave. Canal as well, getting a piece, but Knife pops the ultimate, looks at some targets, goes for the drill forward, takes out Rajaro. It's a bloodbath in the side room, but one that VP has a couple more players left alive at the end of.
Now it's just Gala trying to cap at the moment. It might not be enough. Let's take a look at the silhouettes. I don't believe there's any Fnatic players, so they can't contest at all. Yeah, the gong ringing was all Fnatic members going down there. Knife, unfortunately, Tectonic Shock ultimate. Guess what? Not great at close range. Couldn't get all the kills quickly enough. His blade.
Aggression not going to stop here, but Viper does get shut down. The blade pulled, and instantly the headshot's going to be found. Canale able to find himself a second. His attack will fall. Gala with that. Captive Sun takes out Izayaki, and Fnatic trying to up the tempo here in the back end. End up getting widely punished for it, and Legion gone staggered even.
Nothing to defend against the Captive Sun either. Not on a Diva this time. Viper would have to deflate. Really free for Gala here. And now that they have control of the point, you know, these picks start to make a lot more sense in terms of their value because you're trying to retake here as Fnatic, but Gala, Shockwave, Sorno, Canal, they're all playing such long range, and you have to try and find these members down. They're so far away from you.
Sound barrier dropped in from Legion on all the time, getting shielded up, and okay, Shockman's going to be taken down. Viper able to get in on top of that cast, finds that kill, finds Canelo as well, getting a bit of a revenge after having the blade shut down. It's just all-out aggression here, time and time again, but this time Fnatic, they do manage to come out on top. An extended team kill coming through as they regain control of the point and will be able to regain the lead.
Oh, you can't run away if Attack gets that knife straight into Shockwave, and that's going to be the Deadeye gone, and your main damage dealer gone as well. 55 apiece now equalize as we have a little bit of swap. As Gala over towards Lucio now. They need the speed to disengage. Okay, they have a lot of range, but they need to be able to get out quickly. When it's shout from Queen, Legic on speed, have to respect that.
Rampage across, catching on a 4, all but Sana completely caught up in it, but the knife will find the Pharah, and that is going to be another slaughter here at the hands of Fnatic.
Perfect. Nothing to stop that one. No grenade coming through from Shockwave or a creature from Rajaro to prevent Attack from rolling on through. Minus spawn camp here. You have to respect the spawn advantage that VP have a little bit, but how do you get out of the choke here? That's the question.
Might have to be Matrix, but okay, no, it's going to be Mirage from Sana, finding 2 supports. He does end up getting taken down, not able to clear out that immortality field, but the pulse bomb was committed as well in the fight, and that doesn't find much value. Point now being pressured out, the flip getting ready to come through. Fnatic will get themselves up to 99%, but VP still in with a chance to close this out with the 2-0.
Need Attack back in action. Viper still holding on to the blade. There's a lot to get through. The Mei is really problematic here as well. We've seen this late swap on the Mei before.
There you go.
Zeta Division did versus Bleed. I don't think Viper's going to get too much done here. He needs to wait for cooldowns, wait for utility to be burned from VP before this is going to actually be effective. Knife's only 1 HP, recall gone.
And they try to pressure out that immortality field. Blade's going to be pulled from Viper on again. Immediately dealt with this time. Shockwave finding the kill. Legion going to be taken down. That Attack only able to find 1 knife. Now eliminated, and Fnatic have to reset right now. Izayaki, last man standing. Deadeye going to be popped.
Too early.
Target, and yeah, that is a bit too early. 10% still remaining, and that could end up being costly.
If you could C9 in ultimate, that might just be one right there, because you really want to have Deadeye for this final engagement. The wall's going to be a little bit cute. It's going to block out players, but it should be able to touch. It is contested, in fact.
It's contested now, and there you have it. Overtime going to be forced out, 99-99. Fnatic needing to win this one to try to extend this over towards Sanctuary. Sana into the ice block, down low. Healing comes through. Sound barrier immediately there from Gala on the back end as soon as the ice block breaks to keep them protected. Mortality field going to be cleared out. DJ gone somewhere, somehow just getting tagged up, taken low, but does manage to survive. Break on Attack's mech, but Viper finds Shockwave, and that's an immense amount of damage taken away here from VP. The dive forward, Viper so very low, 15 HP. The melee hit comes through. He is taken down, and now it's a counter slaughter. His VP do in fact look to end this 2-0, and they shall.
You're just watching in slow motion as the sound barrier was not there. Looking at Lee Jae Gon, he's just off. He's just a few percentage points off. And as he finally drops to the sound barrier, it's heartbreaking. It's a 2-man beat for only himself and Izayaki as he has to watch the rest of his team fall through and fade away.
I mean, just brutal. I mean, well, honestly, a very entertaining map in its own right. There was just non-stop aggression coming through. But it was excellent effort from VP to consistently counteract it, to push them back, or just say, okay, you've killed us this time. We're going to go back to the spawn room. We're going to come back out full forces, and then we're going to be able to take you down. Yeah,
that's not the best showing from Fnatic, unfortunately. It seems like that maybe between Zeta Division and Fnatic, Korea's starting to drop some maps here. They didn't drop any maps in Dallas, but they are here at the World Cup.
A little bit of a rocky start, but we'll see how they fare in the next one. But for now, let's go ahead and pass it back over to the analyst desk. Hey, wasn't too long since we saw you guys the last time.
Thank you very much, guys. And hey, man, what? 3-0 is what you said was going to happen. VP show up, and maybe it's a 3-0 for VP. I can get a little ahead of myself.
Well, as someone who predicted Virtus.pro, I feel pretty validated right now.
Wait, okay, we are not deep enough into the broadcast for you to gaslight that shamelessly. Yeah. You say that for like match 3.
Because they're just going back to like the very last moments of that last fight that we saw. I feel like every Overwatch 2 DPS streamer, and I'm just screaming at it. I'm like, immortality is so broken. It's so broken. Oh my god, how is he still alive? That's not fair. And then you uninstall it, all of a sudden that says like streamer is currently offline. I felt like that moment entirely. But hey, man, like I said, I'm not rooting for or against anybody. I'm a little surprised what happened, but Virtus.pro, just that stick-to-itiveness, some great plays. Lee Jae gone, you got the bad version of him a little bit early on, a couple of deaths early on, but they did a good job of everybody knows what Lee Jae Gon is, so they're like, well, we need to isolate it and take it out, and they did a great job of that early on. So, hey, props to them. I think Fnatic is overall a better team. This would still be an upset, though. Let's not get anything wrong. But hey, good on Virtus.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you look at Virtus.pro and what they did here, everyone played out of their minds, and that's probably what's going to take for them to keep this match close. I mean, okay, you also have moments like here for Attack where Attack goes.
That's why they picked him up.
Yeah, entire other team, please go away now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would say the DPS for Fnatic was also playing out of their minds, but the Virtus.pro DPS line was matching them bit for bit. This looked like vintage Shockwave. Not in some of the Overwatch League years that are up and down, but I think back when Shockwave was up-and-coming rookie, and people were just going, what is Shockwave going to do against the Overwatch League? It's like, oh man, Shockwave played really, really well.
Yeah, and just the overall sense of the game I got is that they weren't playing scared, right?
No,
and
definitely
that
not.
was the thing. It's like you can go against an opponent and be like they're better than us, and you end up playing passive and you're not playing the composition correctly. But they were finding isolated targets. They were isolating targets and then executing it, getting the kills. So it was really well played, and it just showed, you know, the sum of the whole can be greater than individual parts sometime. And I will eat my words. Bring me a plate of crow. I'll eat that too. I was wrong. I thought this was going to be completely one-sided, but when you do get to this level play, best 16 teams in the world, stuff like this is going to happen, but I'm stunned and I am wrong and I'm humbled and I'm apologizing, I guess. I don't know yet. I still think they're going to lose.
Well, pick a lane. Pick a lane.
He's flip-flopping all over the place.
I'm playing both sides. I always come out on top.
What's a pun for a trout in hexagrams right now? Like, please.
Yeah. So, like, again, I think one thing that you guys brought up is that they didn't play scared. You could tell after map number 1, you get that, or after, I guess, round 1, it was so funny. Because we caught a little glimpse of the chat. It was like, oh, C9, lol. You know, everyone just kind of throwing in a little bit of the BM there onto the VP side. And it just shows, hey, this team's humming. Yes, a puncher's chance is like what you were calling bleed earlier. But this time VP get this done in a what seemed even more landslide kind of matchup.
And here's the interesting thing to me, though. We talk about the series we just looked at where bleed had way more trouble when you got to game modes of Overwatch that require more team coordination and experience.
Yeah.
I actually think there's a world now looking at this series where you could follow the same script. It actually could go the same way where we go to Escort and Hybrid and we go, oh, well, this is like how we expected it to go. But for Virtus.pro, I mean, look, there's still the same path to victory that Bleed had, which is that you go control, flashpoint, and then push.
There's something said about that chat that always gives me a little bit of insight to how they're feeling, and it's just they're loose. Not that they don't expect to win, but they know other people don't necessarily expect to win. They feel that the pressure is a little lesser on them for this specific matchup, perhaps. Yeah. Because you look at these teams and they have to see what we see and be like, these guys are good players. We know they're good players, but they're loose about it. And they're kind of, that really helps your play style. That was it. Guys, if we go for this dive and we don't get it, it's fine. Don't worry. We still have a chance.
Well, here you go. We're going to Flashpoint in New Junk City with Fnatic selecting red side. They will pick the first ban, and it will be BAP, and then obviously VP going with Winston there. No subs. No subs.
I love this ban. Just because, like, Hex, you set it up where you're talking about, it's like, oh man, Immortality Field is so frustrating. Like, did one of the players just storm in?
Is this just Viper? Viper just picked the ban himself?
Viper just goes up to Faded Flood in the back where it's like, remove the hero.
Yeah.
Get the hero out. I don't want to play against it. Like, no Immortality Field. That will not happen again. And hey, for this next map, well.
All right, well, map number 1 in the books. It was a surprise. Is there more? Are there more surprises is how we would say it in English. Well, let's find out with two guys that know how to speak a lot of English. Let's send it on over to Achilles and Avril.
Thank. I English speak good.
And a little bit of Korean too, Achilles, am I right? Just a tiny amount. You're getting there?
Nah.
Okay.
That means yes.
Ooh.
Anyway, let's get ready to go into map number 2 and stop embarrassing ourselves and self-deprecating. Let's see if this magic can continue from the side of VP.
Well, the thing is, like, I talked to a bunch of teams heading into this, and everyone was saying, look, if there's one beatable Korean team, it's probably Fnatic, and that is starting to look a little true now. And obviously, everyone's confident. They're like, yeah, we can beat some. We're going to take down a Korean team here. That's the dream. You want to take down one of the Korean teams. They're the favorites, obviously, all 4 of them. But it's looking kind of true at the moment, and Zeta, they don't look invincible either when you look at their performance versus Bleed, at least in those first 2 maps. It could just be that these 2 Korean teams in particular are not having good starts on the opening control, and they will warm up a little bit later on. Now, looking over towards this particular map on New Junk City, let's talk about the bans really quickly. Fnatic, target ban versus Canal from the BAP. What it also says to me is they want to block out the double flex support. It's not just about getting rid of the BAP. When you remove the BAP, you're also removing the ability to play BAP Alari and BAP and any other flex support, because when you want a double flex support, it's typically including a BAP. So that's going to be very awkward for VP now to play through if they can't include the BAP into that. The Winston is a very clear situation where your VP, you're saying, we think Attack is a weak player. We don't want you to sub a Dong Act. Keep Attack in for us.
Well, let's see what they do end up piecing together here. As for now, it's showing us the Life Weaver. Well, that's likely to be swapped over. As looks like,
we did see a Gala Life Weaver one time in the qualifiers for Face It towards Esports World Cup, but I don't think that's a good pick. So, yeah, notably, we're going to move away from that. These in the tournament, I think, because of the ban. So,
yeah, that's a fair point. But get one right here, right now. Let's see who can come out on top of this one as we get ready to unlock that first flashpoint in 10 seconds for now. Just control fighting coming through. Attack taking the brunt of it here from the side of Fnatic.
Knife has a flanking angle. That's actually not bad. Can they get aggressive here and get Knife it back?
They've got a lot of damage going across as Jaro nearly taken out of the mech. Shockwave down low, will be hounded out. His Knife is able to go ahead and collect that one, but now Viper at risk. Suzu coming through from Mizuaki, able to keep them protected. Jaro will end up losing that mech, but Viper falls. Clean up there onto the Baby Demon. It looks like Fnatic should just about scrape by as Lee Jae-gon desperately tries to stay alive and will.
This is Fnatic teaching VP a bit of a lesson. You're a ground team, you're a poke team. Let me teach you how to play dive. And in dive, you need a little bit more position. You need some flanking pressure as well. And that's what Knife did. Unfortunately, VP did not. Corralled them towards the back. They had little room to play through. Fnatic even getting a little bit aggressive towards spawn. Very easy opening for them as we look over towards a great timing from Izayaki Canal. So far away from the Kitsune Rush compared to Izayaki Fnatic.
On the counter approach here, Fnatic building up 35% here on the opening flashpoint. Lee Jae-gon, understandably and expectedly, playing forward. Takes a little bit of damage early. Pulse bomb out from Knife, looking for a target. Will not necessarily find one, but beam there from Shockwave. Or on the Shockwave, rather, will find the kill, but Sonic gets a counter pulse out on the Knife, taking him down. Soundbarrier now going to be invested. Lee Jae-gon desperately trying to get his online, drops the beat, does manage to get the shield there onto Attack, ensuring that he can get back in, and Gala is going to get caught up in the blast radius. Gets taken down. Rejoin coming through. Viper Duke online. A couple good headshots there on Asana, forcing out the recalls. Kitsune Rush does get committed to by Canal, and that is going to pay off dividends. Izayaki and Lee Jae-gon both get eliminated. Knife fighting back, however, is able to find Sonic, and so far, Virtus.pro still have not gotten this flip into their favor. Now there's another Diva in the mix. Duke comes through from Viper, matched by Shockwave on the opposite side. 4 Divas. Not sure who's going to come out on top of this one, but Attack loses on his back at this time, cannot get back in for free. Self-destruct going to be sent by Viper. Shockwave trying to build up his own, but does end up getting demeched. Can get right back into it, but the dupe is going to be expiring. And while Virtus.pro, they do have control of the point for now, it looks like Fnatic are going to be able to regain it very quickly.
It's an extremely scrappy fight coming through both teams, but Fnatic need to go for the cap. It's still a 5 versus 4. Rajara has a remake available on the self-destruct. It's still a 5v3, 5v4 situation. No plays live for VP. Rajara's going to save ult.
They needed to be able to get the punish there onto the Baby Diva, but attacking back into the mech. Ends up bailing him out just a little bit more there. Now the flip is back through. They're even staggering here onto Rajaro, getting that kill, and Fnatic will be able to take the opening flashpoint.
Oh, not without a lot of scrapes and bruises, unfortunately, for Fnatic. They really kept it one-sided in the opening neutral, but beyond that, it got really scary for Fnatic, honestly. Even with the extra kill from, it was Attack self-destruct, we was actually forced, ended up killing Gala, but now on rotation, they lose Viper. Like, what's going on, Fnatic? You're about to go over towards the next point opening, and you're down 1 instantly.
Yep. That could give Virtus.pro the inside track. Big Hail Mary toss there on the pulse bomb from Knife. Turns across the opposite side here of the opening and does manage to find that mega pack to keep himself alive, but you lose out on Viper, you lose out now on that pulse bomb. Key tools being taken away out of the hands here of Fnatic.
VP have priority here. They have all the ultimates. They have the point unlock. Canal's got the Kitsune Rush. Izayaki lagging by 2%.
Izayaki has one to match. It looks like he's opting to just go ahead and wait it out, so they're just going to play this a little bit more patiently. Now they look to go ahead and strike, so they got a couple of added seconds where they have the overlap and then the advantage. Sound barrier held by Lee Jae-gon, building that one up fairly rapidly, and even with Viper going as low as he is, Lee Jae-gon opts to go ahead and hold on to it. They wait for the dupe instead. Viper goes for the copy, puts another tracer into the mix, trying to build up towards that pulse bomb here. We'll see if he's going to be able to find it to stick. His attack is broken out of the mech, but has that self-destruct. Gala in the meantime, sound barrier shielding goes out, keeping VP healed up and shielded up as much as humanly possible. Now the counter beat coming through. Self-destruct out from Rajaro, pulse bomb from Sana, finds the kill on the Viper. Lee Jae-gon blown to smithereens. Canal gets taken down. Izayaki able to find one, but it's just 3 members left here from the side of Fnatic, and they're trying to backpedal, trying to desperately disengage, and they cannot. It's already 65% for VP.
That just should not happen, as we're about to see attack getting staggered here. You have a situation where Fnatic actually get the much better sound barrier. I was saying that Legion looks like he's retaining a little bit there. Getting risky, nearly lets a player die. Viper barely squeezes in the green HP from the wave of Legion towards the end, but they have the much better sound barrier given how late Legion pulled through. And yet they still lose 2 players. 1 to a ball spawn, 1 to a self-destruct. That can't happen if you're Fnatic.
On up against the wall, take it down. You saw it right there in the wide shot. Kaneo able to go ahead and take him out. Viper similarly gone. Izayaki eliminated. This is going to be 1-1. No hope here for Fnatic on the second point. Knife just going to be diving off the side, going for the reset.
Yeah, it's 1-1, but this round is 100-0. It's just so much better for VP, and Fnatic looks a little bit lost there. And again, in a situation where I think the ultimate economy-wise, they were probably better off slightly. In a situation where they had the better beat, coming back in, yeah, it's going to be a pretty crappy contest. Not going to lie, Legion obviously will probably die there because he's the designated toucher. It's not Knife. Legion goes in, he's instantly dead, and then Fnatic are not going to be able to play much more after that. They get to retain whatever ultimates they do have for their next point, which is going to be important. Knife versus Sauna, the only 2 ultimates online, but pay attention to the Kitsune Rush difference again. It's Izayaki versus Kaneo, and Izayaki has a way better timing here.
But Shockwave has Viper once again.
Okay, that's bad.
Sicky's come across, and he's able to find the pick here. Pulse bomb invested. Suzu going to be a little bit too late to deny the damage, but they still can't get the break onto the mech. The damage just isn't in, and now Shockwave finds Knife as well. He's just dipping them both.
Fnatic can't be happening twice.
Dude here onto the Diva once more, but Izayaki finds a headshot and Sauna gets eliminated. Pulse bomb was lobbed out, not finding much, a bit of an overcommit on that ultimate. And now this fight, this hold is getting away from them. Fnatic with a really nice counteraction. They turn around, they allow themselves to get this flip fairly quickly.
Well played by by Viper there actually. Fnatic finally able to get some punish on it. It's been Shockwave causing problems 2 fights in a row, opening neutral. Shockwave just gets a pick onto Viper this time. It'll be Fnatic finding their opening. Getting a bit aggressive over towards spawn. A little bit of catch-up to do, but they should be able to overtake on terms of the control. But they're lacking 1 Kitsune Rush, something Kaneo has in advantage. VP didn't get to use it before. Double support ultimates. Legion going to have to really do a lot with the sound barrier to stop that pressure.
There's a Kitsune Rush here from Kaneo. Gala under fire, has that sound barrier, pulls the trigger on it, does manage to hit the floor, and it's going to be Izayaki and Viper getting taken down. 2 huge kills here off the back to the side of Virtus.pro. Sauna trying to stay alive, break on the mech attack, knowing, yeah, I have to hold on to the self-destruct. The rest of the team following around him. The Baby Diva will suffer similarly.
I don't think those 2 players called this sound barrier because they eliminated instantly. So, I mean, Fnatic just kind of messed that one up a little bit. You shouldn't be losing 2 players off rip when the sound barrier drops down. Gala looked like he was in a lot of trouble there. Sound barrier is in quite a disparate situation where he was nearly dead, actually.
Close to an Ajax.
And VP couldn't really push in. Despite having Kitsune Rush, and even then, Fnatic lose.
Somehow, Rajaro going unscouted, was side-by-side against attack, just completely ignoring him. Dupe in here from Viper. And this is going to be Knife who's able to collect Shockwave. Good early kill for Fnatic. Now Gala going to be taken out as well, so Fnatic can get this flip, can keep this contested. And if they can get some staggers maybe here on the back end, could also maybe just steal away this flashpoint for themselves. Self-destruct committed, Rajaro, knowing that he needs to try to just bail out of here, but still very much is going to be at risk of losing that mech once again.
As Rajaro, that was a flank, and that's the issue. I mean, yeah, they didn't detect them, but who cares? You just landed yourself in the Shockwave. No defensive matrix for Rajaro to save his life. Double traces on Shockwave, and that's your player advantage. So, yeah, what was Rajaro doing? We'll never know.
Well, we will not. Moves up, gets the contest. OT going to be forced out here on flashpoint number 3, but it's bleeding down very quickly. Rajaro just trying to keep things contested, trying to wait for the rest of the team to be able to rejoin. Shockwave under fire. The Duke comes up just in time. Gets the copy here onto the Diva, and now immediately finds a kill on the Viper. Izayaki going to be eliminated attack. Forced to use that self-destruct, but it's here on the high ground. They have the tuck back. Dip down there from Gala to keep himself safe. The remech to get the break here on a Shockwave's mech, but now Knife is going to fall. It's just attack on his lonesome while he will be able to finish off the Baby Diva. There is no staying power for him whatsoever. The flip will come back through. The overtime will bleed away, and now it's 2-1 with VP in the advantage.
Beautifully piloted by Shockwave there. I mean, literally in terms of the Diva duplication, exactly what VP needed. 2 Divas rushing you down, micro missiles, defensive matrices. And for Fnatic, it's attacked the last one alive. Did his best. I mean, actually did more than you'd expect a solo play to be able to do on the Diva, but not going to be enough for the 2-1. Speaking of 2-1s, it's VP, 1 up in the series, looking for the 2-0, in fact. Gala looking over towards Sound Barrier. Izayaki only ultimate on Fnatic.
Kitsune Rush sent immediately, but Sound Barrier there from Gala in response, just keeping them shielded throughout this Kitsune Rush. It will expire. Point now getting ready to unlock, and VP overall, you'd say, with the advantage.
Need a tempo beat here from Lee Jae-gon. They have to buy themselves into this fight somehow. Cannot play softly.
But the other thing is it has to catch everybody, and this time it does. Rajaro immediately going to be taken out of the mech. Baby Diva not going to be able to last too long. Attack able to find Shockwave. So once again, Fnatic going to be starting things off decently here off the back of these ultimates to give themselves the opening cap.
Yeah, pretty safe timing too, because Scarlet didn't use Sound Barrier. He used Sound Barrier just a little while ago, so he is ahead, but Lee Jae-gon's not that far behind, and he's still alive, and Gala's dead as well. So situation where Fnatic can hold on. Double DPS ultimates, attack a little bit further on the self-destruct just to keep himself alive. And as typical, Fnatic will just push out a little bit, try and build some ultimates, not get too greedy, don't want to lose something, don't want Shockwave just to randomly catch Viper again.
Certainly something that's trying to be avoided here is Knife getting hounded down. Sona looking for the chase, looking for maybe another pulse bomb diff onto the enemy Tracer, but this time we'll have to wait a little bit longer for it.
VP,
Knife similarly though, slinking around the back line.
This time it's VP that have no buy-in. They're waiting for Canal to use this Kitsune Rush, 2% away. Knife on the flank is gigantic though. I mean, he can just use this any time. Looking for the, oh my god, that's great. Suzu, I think.
Yep, Suzu going to be coming through. Attack at the same time though, able to go ahead and eat Sauna's up, so Pulse Bomb's not going to be finding value on either side. Duke in from Viper, putting that Diva into the mix once again, but Izayaki's going to be taken down as Rajaro was able to find that kill. Attack broken out, self-destruct invested. Any remech, the answer is going to be yes. It was right back into the fight, but still down a support. Fnatic have to allow for this flip to come through.
Importantly, Gala didn't have to Sound Barrier there, so they have some tools to play through. VP now on the long grind, 0-2, 92, not quite 100, but 0-2. 92 is basically the same. They want to clean up this map and get a 2-0 lead in the series. They're going to have to do a lot of work. 3 ultimates though, decent economy. When it's under pressure, Izayaki going.
But yeah, there's the contest. Sauna keeping him honest. Duke here from Shockwave. Trying to push forward. It's going to be forced onto the low ground, so far build up towards that self-destruct in the Duke. Going to be lacking significantly, but Knife absolutely run over as Rajaro finds the opening kill. Self-destruct still going to be held as that Sound Barrier just keeps the rest of the team perfectly protected. And
that's that 30% difference. But we noted a little bit earlier on in the neutral, Fnatic did have to drop in the tempo beat from Lee Jae-gon to buy themselves into the neutral. However, he was 30% behind Gala. Now Gala gets to cash that in immediately in a situation where Fnatic have nothing to play through. Ideally, even if Lee Jae-gon is 30% behind, somebody else can contest.
Viper dead again, though, on the approach.
Has to be beat.
And Sauna finding it, Lee Jae-gon under pressure, nearly loses it, but Beat does go through, keeps him alive, but as soon as that shielding's gone, he absolutely gets destroyed. Sauna with another Pulse Bomb in. Izayaki dead, and as you say, that should just about do it on the map. A self-destruct and a desperate Brit once again attack, trying to hold on, trying to inspire some level of hope here. The overtime will bleed down, and it's 3-1 as Virtus.pro continue to impress, and they move up 2-0 in this series. Fnatic now needing a reverse sweep if they want to be victorious here.
You mentioned inspirational there, but unfortunately all the inspirations on VP side are not getting any inspiration for Fnatic so far. They said Fnatic were beatable, but this is looking very beatable because unfortunately for Fnatic, I hate to say this, and you know, all credit to VP, but VP aren't even like the top EU team here. You could argue not even the top 2 EU team here, so there's even better European teams. If Fnatic are failing this hard now, I mean, top 4 is looking very open for the rest of the grid if Korea can't lock it in.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about those teams. You took a look at who else is in this group, and there's another big name that really is going to stand out, and that's, of course, going to be Space Station Gaming. And you need to, you know, avoid being that bottom spot. So this is a bit concerning for the side of Fnatic. So we'll go ahead and pass things back over to the analyst desk and hear about their concerns as well.
Thank you very much. My concerns are the same as everyone else's who predicted a very clean game by the Korean squad of Fnatic, and it's not quite there right now. Zizzle Pizzle, how are you feeling, dog?
Why'd you pick Fnatic,
Has anyone ever called you that? No one's ever called you that.
No, well, now someone has called me that.
Yeah,
at least once.
Yeah.
Also,
ZP.
Look, on paper, I stand by everything on paper. However, in practice, what we're seeing here is Virtus.pro is playing out of their minds, and you take a look at Fnatic, they've come in cold. However, you think back to the narrative we had in the last series, I also think that could come into the picture here, where it's that the 2 maps you would expect a team to upset or surprise you on, or game modes, we have just played. If there's never been a better opportunity for a reverse sweep than what we have now, but you gotta give respect to what we've been seeing here from Virtus.pro, especially on the DPS line where, look, you talk about how good Viper and Knife have been, and they've both had their moments here so far. Sauna and Shockwave have been matching them hit for hit.
Yeah. First of all, you ever been wrong? Happened to me. Happening right now. There's something to be said, and I kind of mentioned like the win condition, so I will say the one thing I did say correctly in the pre-show. There's something to be said about playing mistake-free Overwatch.
Yeah.
And so what I feel Virtus.pro is doing much better than Fnatic. Not that it's flawless or clean. No game of Overwatch is ever going to be flawless, but it feels they're making less mistakes. The amount of we might be getting the kind of version of Lee Jae-gon that I don't love.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go. What's going on with your boy Lee Jae-gon?
This also might be a version of, I've seen this happen in almost every sport, of looking past an opponent, looking down on an opponent and thinking, I'm just better so we can skill gap these guys. And I feel like maybe some of that's happening. I don't want to go sports psychology, but let's give Virtus.pro all the props in the world. Shockwave is playing how he needs to be playing, and everyone else also stepping up their game. But the thing is, they're not making mistakes. They're not wasting ults. They're not using an advantage and throwing it away. It's just smart, solid Overwatch.
Yeah, Sana, like even there at the end, Sana with the pulse bomb on the Tracer, huge there to close it on off, prevent the recap, and prevent Fnatic from getting on in. Speaking of looking past an opponent, I wanted to bring up the fact that this is the game mode where you could get upset, and kind of like what Zeta did earlier, they opted into taking it and saying, hey, this is your best chance, we're going to take it away against Bleed. They were able to do that. Here, Fnatic tried to call the same number, ended up now, 2-0. Their backs are against the wall.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say for Fnatic at the very least is that in terms of both experience and coaching staff, if anyone could get you out of being down 2 maps in a series, it would probably be the staff and personnel that they have. But you don't want to be here because now, no matter how you play, you could play really well and anything can happen in one map of Overwatch, right? So Virtus.pro has to be incredibly happy with how well they've played so far, because Fnatic, even if they play as well as we think they can play, it's not going to be an easy road. They still got to win 3 straight, no mistakes.
The thing is, it doesn't even feel like it's fluky, though. You've seen some of those matches where a team's getting upsets, and you're like, yeah, but if that Widow didn't hit 3 shots, it wouldn't have happened, or if they didn't walk into Riptire, it wouldn't have happened. It just feels like it's just straight up getting outplayed. Like, not by a huge margin, but by like enough. And I think there's been moments where I see players in Fnatic going a little too aggressive, because it's like, well, I'm better than these guys, so I should be able to win this. And it's like, well, no, you can't win that 1v2. And then there's instances where there's players that I think are not the better Tracer hitting a pulse bomb the other, like that shouldn't happen. That's an ego move. Like, there's been great play overall, and hey, good on it. I love to be surprised by stuff like this. This is the reason I like sports. This is the reason I like esports, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's not scripted. This is not oh, well, that's the end of Act A, so this is going to move forward. Like, yeah. I love stuff like this because it doesn't follow regular structure. There is no narrative, and I'm more than happy to be wrong because I enjoy being surprised by a good story like this.
So when we're in the back, you said Knife and Viper, they're doing their best to try and drag the rest of the squad out. That means who needs to be stepping on up here for this Fnatic side?
I mean, it's a support line right now. The support line, for how good we know they can be, they aren't playing at that level right now. No. They just are not. And again, the weird thing is for Lee Jae-gon is that I want to say is like, yeah, it's off for Lee Jae-gon, but also even when Lee Jae-gon was in his peak, Lee Jae-gon would also just have off series.
It's worth noting, though, as well, that this is a new backline. Right? So we talked about the roster that was acquired was Yeti minus their backline of Irony and Bliss. And maybe there's something to be said about guys who are just going to be steady in doing their job in the backline rather than trying to be playmakers. It's great to have playmaking supports, but if you got to take care of the basics first, right? You got to like make the bread before you butter it. And that might be something that's going on. Look, I love Lee Jae-gon, and I told you, either way we're going to be entertained. Either he's going to dominate and he's going to do it, or, he was the first kill of this match.
Yes.
And I think he was like the 4th kill of this match as well. Like, it was something like that. You kind of just got that feeling. You're like, uh-oh, Lee Jae gone wrong here. Yeah. It's not great. But it's more than just one player. It is kind of like all the pieces. And when they're getting some of these kills from Knife and Viper, yeah, they're great, but they're not always the impactful kills. As some of them are like they're already down one, So, hey, all credit in the world to Virtus.pro.
Well, here we go. Lari getting taken out there by Fnatic, VP taking away Genji, and we're going to Hollywood. So it is, you're going to Hollywood. So you're kind of thinking, okay, this should be favoring the team that has been together a little bit longer, the team that has more experience. That's what you guys have said. Also updated for you.
Should be
Viper and Attack both out.
Yeah.
That means
that
Checkmate and Donghak are in.
Yes.
You had something to say about Donghak?
Well, because he hasn't played yet, and this is 2023 Overwatch Season 6, Rookie of the Year. Great tank player, Winston and Ball, the specialist, and this is a map where even though the elevators have changed and I've seen teams run it down slow, I think it's still a much better dive map. You want to get your Winston in there for sure. I thought Attack played pretty well, but this is just not the map you want to run his hero pool on. So also there's something to be said, even though the map dictates it and everything, of just bringing in some new players at this point, because what you're doing ain't working.
Yeah, and I'd also say here too is like as we swap game modes here, we're also entering a game mode where it's always kind of nebulous in games, including Overwatch, to be like, well, what's the impact of coach? What can the coaches do? At very least in theory, but I also think in practice, when you go to something like Hollywood on Hybrid, this is more in the wheelhouse of, okay, the coaches are going to give you some better game plans than what you get on the previous game modes we had here. So if there is an advantage to be had from there, I think you're going to see it from Fnatic here.
All right, well, to Hollywood we go as the players are getting themselves ready. I guess just because, let's dream a little bit. If VP get this win here, what type of, on a scale of 1 to 10, the magnitude of upset this would be here? With the expectations that we had coming into it. Don't change it. Don't change it.
Go ahead.
Don't change it now.
No, I'll go.
I'll answer.
A 10
Waffler right here.
A 10 would be if Crazy Raccoon was the team losing here.
Yeah.
I would put this at about an 8.5 to a 9, though.
That's
it's
super
pretty
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who predicted Virtus, I don't think it's an upset at all.
You can't just keep trying to change history like this. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
I can and I will. That's.
So someone just tuned in and is believing you right now.
What do you mean believing? Check the tape.
Yes, please.
This is okay. So from this map strategy that we saw here in the last game, Zeta took the same route, right? They went with Flashpoint. They won. What is the order of the next maps? Let's say Fnatic win this one. Then where are we going next? What would you go with?
I mean, it's probably going to be push next, push after this, and then
yeah,
because
because
Virtus would select, yeah.
Okay, well, this feels a little stressful right now for Fnatic. Takes a little bit longer for us to get in the game as the players are swapping on in, getting their peripherals all set on up. But again, just resetting the stakes here. This is Group D. These teams have not played their matches yet. Fnatic are expected to be the top team in the group alongside of Space Station. But big surprise here if there's an upset, and it does open things up for the rest of the teams in the group. And also, again, how it works if you make it on out, if you are the first place in your group, you get a bye into the top 8. If you're second, you get to pick the third place team you want to play. All of a sudden, you're like, what's Fnatic doing down here?
I mean, I was just going to end up like putting it out there. I'm like, well, there's no way Virtus.pro gets second, but like, who knows now? I think a lot of this too is a lot of this where you have to give credit to coaching staffs and strategies and stuff, because this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's never been done before where we do hero bans in a major tournament. It's been tried into the disappointment of many. It was like, it wasn't done this exact way, so it ended up just being players who were like, well, we just want to play the meta, so we're going to ban the one pick that counters the meta kind of thing, right? So it just ended up, it's been tried before in experimental modes, but not the exact same way as this. So this is a whole new ball game as we're entering, and I think that the hero bans and map selections have been enormous.
Hex, I got a question for you here, though. Well, let's say Fnatic doesn't look great, and they just sort of limp into playoffs here, right, in the third place spot. Given the fact that we know the overall potential of this team if everyone's at peak, when you get to a point that you choose your opponent, do you look at this roster and be like, I want to choose that? I feel like this is a roster you look at where even if they look bad today and look bad tomorrow, I still don't necessarily want to play that. Yeah, I don't want to play this team.
It's a matter of who's doing the choosing, you know? And I think that it ends up being that they'd be the last team chosen, because I believe like all the threes get put into a pool and then the top 2s get to pick, you know? So it'd just be by default a team's going to have to play Fnatic.
Well, yeah. It goes Group D, second place, Group C, second place, Group B, second place, and then Group A gets whoever's left over. So Group A might end up being like, oh, I guess we have to play the Fnatic squad.
Yeah, and you see this in a lot of like stuff where it happens in groups like that. But I just feel, I think these teams are kind of learning on the fly as well. And you can kind of scrim this all you want, but scrim bucks and those things don't usually equate to the actual in-game play, which is why I don't always put a ton of stock in scrims when they happen, because everyone always wins every scrim, and that's not even the right way to do scrims. But I don't feel like if I'm choosing first and Fnatic is in this pool, No, I'm not taking them first because
No.
just the potential that any one of the potential that Knife just guts me and that's it. You know, like that's enormous. So I think some of the upsets that we see and some of the stuff that's happening today won't be even the same tomorrow. I think that's how quickly this tournament's going to move.
Yeah, I think one thing you have to give a lot of credit, though, is that sometimes some teams come out and they have a better understanding of how to play in a new meta, where, again, this is a new meta. I think we had a pretty big seismic shift in what's good and how you have to play things right now, you know, especially, of course, tanks being more powerful. And look, we might just be in a world where VP has like gone ahead of the curve, and you can ride that wave the entire tournament.
But it's so weird for me to even call it a meta. I mean, so if we didn't have hero bans and it was just like the new tank patch, itself was going to redefine things and what was really strong. And then you would just probably see D.Va, Winston, right? And then there would be a counterplay to it with like probably a Symmetra type play, right? Get the beam and do all that. But now there can't really be a stable meta because you can come in and be like, oh, that one key component to that specific form of dive, banned. Or that one key component that you want to run instead of that, protected. Like, so it's a meta in a large, it's a metaverse, I guess. I hated that. It's cut the tape.
That was nice. That was nice. We were with you every step of the way, Hack. So then all of a sudden,
it's what happens when you talk too long, and I'm like, oh, that's clever. And then the moment I said it, I'm like, oh, it is not. But again, I don't have to be smart with my jokes because I was.
Now, as we wait for the teams to get ready.
I substitute my own reality, and I'm happier living in it than the current one.
Yeah, we're also waiting to get the updates on what the deal is with the teams and players. Again, know that we got the substitutions and peripherals coming on in,
Can we go back over the bans? We might not have touched that.
Yeah, all right, so one more time. The bans were Illari and Genji. Fnatic ban Illari, Virtus.pro ban Genji, Fnatic pick Hollywood and will start on attack to kick things off.
Okay. Any thoughts on that? Illari's been really strong lately. Illari did get also like a damage nerf, but the pylon buff is enormous, which is why she's actually being played and considered now.
Yeah, I mean, I think Illari overall, you know, it's something we're seeing more of right now. And probably, I feel like as the tournament goes on, it's going to be in rosters more often than not. But I think we still need a little bit of extra time for the players, D-Gon.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to take a short break while the players are getting ready for this very, very important matchup. Now, every moment is a match point here for VP. One of the biggest upsets at 8.5 to 9, according to ZP. We're going to take that short break. When we come back, we'll have map number 3.
to EWC. We should just be moments away from getting into our third and potentially final map. But two teams, and we'll see what exactly is going to happen here.
I think there should be some life left in Fnatic. I mean, it wasn't exactly, you know, DEFCON 5 for Zeta Division when they were in the situation, not exactly because they actually won map 2 and Fnatic did not. There's a couple of strange things happening that I want to address so far. I'm actually not in agreement with what Fate and Flitter are doing for this third map. Now, they've decided as a losing team to, obviously, they get pick priority for, they get to pick the map, and they also get to then decide whether they want to ban first, etc. Now, they went towards Hollywood. They clearly wanted to go towards a dive map. They got attack out. My criticism so far is that I think they actually need to get Donga back in. They clearly want to play dive. It's time to go back to the bread and butter of what Fnatic are known for, what they're famous for, which is the dive. You need to get Dong back in there. You need to give him some game time. Not impressed with attack so far. Secondly, though, I think priority should be on Dorado, not actually on Hollywood. Why? Because it's the Escort map pool that you have to be way more concerned about later down the line when VP might get the pick instead, and then they can pick something like Shambali. That's really going to screw you if you're Fnatic. And also, why are we banning out something like Ilari when you're targeting the supports? You should be targeting Rajara. That's actually the play that I think is causing issues right now for Fnatic.
Oh, yeah.
Get rid of the Diva. You want a dive matchup? Do not allow Rajara to play the Diva into that. He's the one with the limited hero pool. Put him back on the Ramattra. Put him back on the Sigma. You get to play Winston or something like that. That's how Fnatic actually win. And so that's why I don't think their bans or their map choice was good.
Yeah, I mean, the value that we've been seeing from Rajara has been pretty staggering. I mean, the best Diva play that we've been getting all day here, and the couple times that we had seen in the previous matchups, is just regularly finding impact, catching people off guard, and, you know, even getting kills with the self-destruct from time to time. But
look at this.
We have a Torbjorn here set up on the defense.
And that's actually a specialty for Virtus.pro, because if you watch any Face It Masters, you know, EWC qualifiers, they played a ton of this. It's like, you know, have a little bit of the regular anti-dive stuff. They're going to play the Diva, obviously, add in the extra Torb, and then make things really annoying for Fnatic, who obviously want to play a Winston. An opening fight so far. Let's see what Checkmate brings to the table. Viper has been subbed out. Not exactly sure what the exact composition is. Knife is over towards the Ashe, and it seems like it's the Tracer for Checkmate instead.
I'll take it down. Immortality field going to be cleared out. Turret still set up. It's Sonic able to get the melee hit. As Checkmate will fall. Get him down. Knife under some fire. Shockwave coming up with the goods there, but still good progress made from Fnatic already. Those 2 ticks built up, and they're looking for even more. Now pushing up past 70%. Virtus.pro needing to try to find some stability here. Izyakin, DJ Khan both going to be taken low, but it's going to be Canale who actually falls as far as the supports are concerned. And a nice anti-nade sets up for Gala to die as well. That'll be the cleanup. That'll be the cap. Fnatic off to a roaring start with a time bank of just about 5.5 minutes.
Can't go wrong with the Dong. Here we go. The Winston up and ready for Fnatic. That's exactly what we're talking about. Nice Bionet connection from Ezyak. They clean it up. And the Winston gameplay just looks so much better coming through from Fnatic. Again, this is their style. This is what they built their entire reputation on during, you know, the Asia OWCS portion of this year so far. Heading over towards B now. 5 minutes is decent. It's 5 minutes plus, actually, because they kept a little bit more time than that. Easy now pushing even Virtus.pro off secondary. Yeah, there we go. Gets Nano.
Yep, Nano's in. Still has that Primal ready to go in case he gets into a dire situation, which right now is getting whittled away at. In the meantime, Checkmate does get a headshot taken down as Canale is able to find that one, but Shockwave traded out. So 1 for 1 as far as the damage dealers here are concerned. Sauna able to go ahead and elude that dynamite, so keeping his life intact. Ninja going with a rally roam, just trying to keep everybody else alive. That will now expire. Corner juggle here coming through as Canale is going to get knocked out of that one and immediately taken down. Donghak clearly seemed like he was waiting on the bench, chomping at the bit, ready to play.
And now Rajara's teammate as well.
Yeah, it's just looking fantastic for him. Self-destruct having to be used there by Rajara. Does get back into the back safely. Cannot get that punish, but Knife with the dynamite this time will be able to find Sauna. And the push can continue as the bomb goes down.
As Bob aside there, as Knife's Bobs went on out. A little bit of extra damage from Knife on the Ashe as well, and Fnatic are looking so much better. I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't DEFCON 5 for Zeta Division, nor is it now coming through for Fnatic. Still plenty of room to come back in the series. It will have to be a reverse sweep. Cap now, nice and open. Can they get this though? Have to wait out the window, have to respect Canale.
Let's see though, how much time can they buy from here? The Amp Matrix does expire, sound barrier available here for Gala. Widely, Fnatic looking to just pull back away, look for another angle of approach here, try to find a crack in the armor that they can take advantage of. And built up once again here. Izyakin immediately dumping that over onto Donghak. Just go ahead, maybe scale up the walls, get up onto the high ground. But sound barrier now in response, right as Knife ends up getting taken down. Donghak cannot survive. Melted through. A hot knife through butter, and that's going to be Fnatic for the first time staved off in the push.
That was their first fight win so far. I mean, it's taken a while for him to get in there.
Okay. I was like, is he going to stick around, go for a back cap?
No, he's just going to get staggered. Unfortunately, this will be a little bit sad, but this is what VP need because they're down a decent amount of time here. To be fair, though, Lee Jae-gon got a decent amount of ult charge off that. He's still swinging around. He's up to 90% now. The rally should be pretty decent. There was nothing to play up against the sound barrier of Gala in that previous fight. For Fnatic, just got to pressure out the early stages of this. Checkmate could even pressure Payload if he can find a flanking angle as well. It's the rotation around the back that's important. I don't think they really need to aggress this opening high ground. Just go to the point.
Starting the backpedal now. Don't want to go crazy. Yeah, I mean, the back cap threatened there. Test comes through, keeps it locked in position here as Donghak once again leaping up onto the high ground. It's a decent amount of damage. Drops down, but he's only 19% away from having that ult online. Pulse bump from Checkmate going to be going wide, doesn't get the stick. But once again, it's going to be Canal in a pretty bad spot. Matrix is still going to be committed to here as he somehow has not been taken down. No one able to get in on top of him, but it's going to be Gala who gets caught up instead. Digicon with a whip shot, finds that elimination. And that's the first step here to try to get this cap onto B. Once again, just knocking him around. The kills will get cleaned up. Only Sana left standing to try to get that pulse bomb back online, but Lee Jae-gon with 3 in the fight across the board will help get Fnatic the cap.
The Silver Jar swaps something like Ram, or because, I mean, this waste of a D.Va ultimate, unfortunately. He's going to keep the D.Va in play. Obviously, I think D.Va has a pretty good matchup into the Winston Dong. He's actually going to go towards the Doom. There's a question mark. I mean, Doom's not particularly great in the meta, in my opinion, based on my conversation with the players as well, but if there's a player that can make it work, I think Donghak's one of the best Dooms that we have here. See if he makes the magic happen.
He'll be very good at splitting the attention of Rajaro at the very least. Between he and Checkmate, plenty of backline access and harassment there. And spot for now, just a delay. Shockwave buying some space and time here for the team. Dive forward going to be coming through, and there's the Nano right off the rip, straight onto the Doom, and the damage is being found. Canal once again going to be dealt with here as it's leap up onto the high ground. Shockwave cannot escape, and that is why he swaps over onto the Doom Fist. The impact is immediately seen. It is felt there by the side of Virtus.pro. As Rajaro is going to be trying to hold on to the mech, but he cannot. Immortality Field not going to be doing a damn thing there as Lee Jae-gon similarly finds Gala at the same time.
He's going to have to go back to spawn, losing his ultimate charge. I can't remember what he was on, but it's gone now. Delete that one. 15%, that's all you get to play through. Lee Jae-gon needs to find this rally because the Gala sound barrier is coming on through. Fnatic are going to have to respect. They'll have to back up when the sound barrier comes on in, but they can play with the rally against it. Now that Lee Jae-gon has found it.
Checkmate limit testing there for a little while. HP was going up and down. They do manage to keep him alive. Pulse bomb now going to be online. Eating a bit of damage, but similarly here is Rajaro. As Sana lets that pulse bomb go, but doesn't find an opening, and that could be absolutely crucial here.
They want to force Gala. They can get the sound barrier out early with damage to Rajaro. This is really good for Fnatic. Gala's holding, though.
They set him up, they still haven't forced it out, and that's going to be the Ant Matrix coming through, and Sana now finding Checkmate as well should allow them to continue holding on to this beat. Immortality Field going to be cycled in. Rajaro just getting pumped back up towards full HP. And for now, it's going to be Virtus.pro maintaining control here. Right in the choke way. There's multiple kills are going to be found.
I'm not a fan of the fact that Fnatic decided to pull trigger first. I felt like they would do a great job of pressuring on Virtus.pro, but Lee Jae-gon felt the pressure. And off the back of the rally, they failed to really push on it. I guess it's maybe harder for them to win the poke battle, given you have defensive matrix on Rajaro and Donghak on a Doom. Not quite the same. You have to take, first priority on the fights here for Fnatic. Okay, well, they did that. Unfortunately, not working out. Nano's going to be really important because now you get to allow Donghak to go in deep. Meteor Strike as well. It's a second life for Dong. And once the bomb's on the back line, once you get the bomb on the cap as well, that's super good.
Cancel on the punch. And their sights once again back towards the cart here, bringing it up through the archway to dive forward to look at the Shockwave, and then just might be able to find him. Mortality Field's going to be coming through. Bob going to be invested just in case he were to die. Sound barrier now going to be forced out. Meteor Strike back down. Donghak immediately going to be receiving that nano boost in the back end. Shockwave this time cannot survive. Kill found Ash out of the equation. Self-destruct going to be sent here over towards the archway, but Rajaro cannot survive, and the explosion doesn't find any kills itself. Sana will be able to come up with one, has that pulse bomb, but needs it to go big, and he needs to invest it pretty much right now, as it's just 2.84 meters left to go. Lee Jae-gon's going to be taken down, but there's just so much work, and Sana cannot get it on his own. The push will come through, but it's still decent from Virtus.pro considering how this map started.
Well, that's the thing, right? I think Fnatic were able to get a really good start. Then we had a little bit of slowdown, C then more slowdown. Some would say that's just the intention of how the maps are designed. Anyway, you do expect that C is going to be the most difficult point for you to play. And look, Achilleos, you're casting, it's pause. It should be no surprises here.
Yeah. I do be cursed like that, I'll take a look back at how this map kind of began. It was all just this big spiral off the back of Donghack who just came out the gate just absolutely ripping.
It's a tempo difference as well. I mean, with Dong leading the way, he's able to just get in super deep, get the damage done, find these primals as well. He built up primal super quickly. You can see the pacing of Fnatic is entirely different. Some criticism levied towards the backline. He's Yakin lead on a Fnatic, but it's like, when Fnatic's tempo is bad, I think the support's just crumbling, yeah, for sure. But when Donghack's in the lead and he's able to pull the shots and be the one to pull the trigger early, and he's in the face of VP, has EasyArk and Legion really had much pressure this whole game? I don't think so. Compared to the first two maps, absolutely not. So, yeah, Fnatic, they're definitely back in control for this map. It's definitely closer now because of the timing for C. It's not as giant of a time bank as it looked like at the beginning. This is the kind of resurgence that Fnatic really need in this series. The question will be future, further on, if we to get the, telescope out, what do the future maps look like? Because we still got Push, still got Escort, and then the questions come through because if you're reverse sweeping, guess what? The other team, that's VP, they now have map choice for the rest of the series. Yep. And you know what Fnatic's strong points are? It's Dive, it's Donghack, it's Winston, it's Doom. You can counter that. There are still bans available. You could do a Doom ban if you really wanted to. You could even target some of the backline as well. Like Ana hasn't been banned yet. Brig hasn't been banned yet. These are things that VP should go into. Honestly, you look at maps available. Shambali's out there. That's not really good at all for Dive. So that's where exactly I think VP are going to go through. I think one of the things that annoys me about this Fnatic team, even when looking over towards them back when they were Yeti in Asia, is unfortunately for Flitter and Fate, I don't think they're very good at looking forward in the series to see like, okay, well, how can we strategically take maps out of our opponent's map pools? This is a team based on the coaching that very much likes to pick based on their comforts. You asked the question, Desk was our question as well. Why go New Junk City, Flashpoint map 2? Why? Because they love Flashpoint. They always like to go Flashpoint early. If you watch Yeti back in Asia, they like to go Suravasa. Okay, EWC. Now it's New Junk City. Still Flashpoint though. They're playing to their comforts, but they need to start looking towards the future and getting rid of certain maps in the pool that would be bad for them. That's why if they went to Dorado, I know they're winning a Hollywood now, but Dorado's also a dive map. I think they would have won that as well. And they would have gotten rid of Shambali. And now when you look at the future of the series and you look at what maps are left in the pool, it's all VP pick, and they can pick all ground maps, all bad dive maps.
I mean, well, whether or not they're winning on Hollywood still yet to be seen. Obviously, we just got through their attack, and they did manage to make it to the very end of the map, but with just 23 seconds remaining. And that's, 5 minutes shy of where they started after the cap on A. So it was very good time buying because, of course, obviously you have to calculate in the added little 4 minutes that you get for the push of the checkpoints of A and B. So this was very solid defense here from the side of VP. And I mean, if it wasn't for Donghack just going kind of crazy on both the Winston and the Doomfist, this could have been a completely different story. But I'm right there with you. As far as being able to really pilot around that, force him out, force attack maybe to even come back into the roster for those remaining maps, that could be where you gain the advantage for yourself for the side of Virtus.pro. But one of the things I'm going to be looking for as they get ready to go on the attack themselves is going to be a little bit more just sustainability as far as the backline is concerned, because it feels like for the first time we're actually seeing this backline from VP getting punished somewhat regularly.
That's because of Donghack.
And I mean, it is because of Donghack, but obviously you need to be able to make those adjustments. So that's something that I want to see here from VP, because they're doing an excellent job about it on the opening two.
I think VP, like they were knowing what the matchup's going to be there. They're just going to play Lucio, they're going to play, their Lucio Bap, Lucio Kiri kind of stuff. To me, the Alari was just never going to be a factor on this map. So again, another situation where Flitter Fate look, oh, let's ban Alari because that's Gala's here. They're not even going to play it. Like, I don't even think they're really going to play it here. So another situation where that's just a bit of a waste. They do have to win this map. I mean, you're right. Like, we do have to focus on Hollywood a little bit here because they haven't won yet. But even if they do win Hollywood, I think my greater arching point in terms of why I've gone down this pathway of topic is to essentially say that even if they win Hollywood, I still think VP win the series.
You've got many, many more hurdles.
Because VP have every advantage moving on forward, and Fnatic have not done themselves any service to try and prevent VP from getting everything they want for the rest of the series.
Well, looks like checking in with some of the players here, at least on the Fnatic side, to see if they're going to be good to go. Similar checks still happening here. As Sauna back in his seat, headset back off, and a wry little smile. It seems like we should be moments away from getting the rest of this Hollywood underway and figuring out whether or not this is in fact going to be that 3-0 coming through, or Fnatic can start the pushback, can try to take that first step.
It is actually DEFCON 5 if Fnatic loses, not just because they lose, because it's obviously 0-3, but I think for the rest of the tournament, yikes, that's they're at risk of being bottom too. I don't necessarily know that they're going to come last because Well, I think, you know,
Sure.
I think they could probably have a good game versus Nightmare, let's say, but it's pretty concerning.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the one that you basically, you know, kind of have to win in order to avoid being that bottom team, getting eliminated from the group stage, you know, being denied that big double up on your prize money. But you still don't want to be going into the playoffs as a, you know, a third seed team.
It's more than that. It's like, how do you look so good with Dongak, where he like kind of carries you on the attack and is a large reason why you look so damn good as a team on this map, and then just lose the map anyway. It's like, what's going on? Like,
Sure.
if you can't win with Czech and Dongak subbed in, you weren't winning, unfortunately, with attack. I think Viper, he didn't play poorly, but the whole team looked pretty rough at that point in time. So sure, give Checkmate a run, see what changes. And so far, this is looking good. So if they can't win with this swap, there's nothing left for Fnatic to do. What's going to happen? Are Flitter and Fate going to drop in and play? No other options.
Well, there's about to get opened up. Sana looking like he wants to show off maybe some opening picks here on the Widow. At least go for a cheeky little peek, see if you can spot any heads. And, well, it's all Izzyaki for a brief little moment. It would have been a big, crucial one to find, but does manage to elude them. Curious to see, though, if this Doomfist continues to be a bit of a thorn in the side here for them, do they get forced into something like the Sombra?
We'll see. I don't know that Sombra's really good in the current meta. I mean, we saw like one Sombra today.
Well, that's quite the dive forward. Knife absolutely eradicated off the face of the map as Donghack similarly in a bad spot. Sona dashing back, trying to stay alive, down to 30 HP and then finished off. Checkmate able to find that elimination, but the rest of the team still falling the wayside. Shot out there. Checkmate able to get the break here onto Rajaro's mech, but still a decent amount of staying power here for him, given that the supports are still hovering nearby, but Gala getting gummed up a little bit there on the walls, ends up falling low, but does manage to stay alive. Pulse bomb locked in, stick not found, kill, damage, nothing coming through here for the side of Fnatic. As they continue to get swept under the rug. Second tick now going to be scooped up here by VP.
Okay, well, 2 ticks gone. Fnatic finally with the retake that they've been looking for. Dying over towards the Winston, what he probably should have started on for this defense. Can the rest of the team walk out? No, they can't. Knife is caught.
Once again, they all just corral in on top of this Ash and just pressure him out to ever-loving hell. Donghack going to be taken down, and the HP bars are in absolute tatters for the side here of Fnatic. The cleanups there onto Izzyaki. The only consolation that this dupe was used.
My problem with Dong starting on the Doom for the A-point defense is you have to be hyper-aggressive. The Doom is just not a good, like, open defensive pick when Winston has far more defensive plays you can play through. You can back up, play your bubbles. You can sort of, you know, dance in and out a little bit better. I think the high ground controls maybe a little bit better as well. The Doom, like, what are you supposed to do? You really need to get aggressive. You can't get aggressive upon. What did we see at the beginning? It's Rajaro and Sauna diving on in, taking Knife down. Fnatic just caught sleeping because Dong has to go first for his Doom, but if you're Winston, you can be a little bit more flexible.
Okay, well, continue rush first out here from Canal. The dive forward, looking for Izzyaki. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure. Sleep start across on Rajaro. He's immediately going to be woken up. Sound barrier available, but Legion going to be taken down. That rally interrupted. Gala does fall. Beat cannot come through. Canal and as well as Rajaro both going to be taken low. That gets broken. And the counter fight is going to go the way of Fnatic so they can establish some control.
Thankfully, Checkmate Donghack still getting a lot of work done on the outside of the map. A lot of trust being given over to those players because Izzyaki's like, I could save Legion on, could save the rally by inputting an extra nano. It will pay off for them not to have done so, though. A little bit of a high-risk, high-reward play. And this time the coin does flip heads for Fnatic. They'll have control on the high ground because payload distance is not great. VP have to do a lot of work here to pressure this opening high ground in order to move this payload up.
Back in on the push. DPS ultimates slowly getting built up here from the side of Virtus.pro, but Pulse Bomb available to Checkmate. Donghack now opening up. That's the Primal Rage going through, and Gala's going to be taken down. Checkmate able to find that one, but Rajaro able to get in on top of Knife. Does go ahead, take him out of the skies as Donghack's just trying to swat him like a fly. Nano going to be used to go ahead, keep Legion alive, and he's swiftly able to collect 2 kills off the back of that one, nearly a third. As once again, Fnatic themselves a foothold here with the card.
I mean, that was almost awkward for Fnatic because you see Knife just lasering down Shockwave, puts him onto 1 HP. Despite not getting to kill the Shockwave, it takes him out of the fight, so they technically still had a bit of a 5v4, bit of a poor man's 5v4, but Fnatic will make it rain, cash out regardless. Another fight one time is now starting to become a bit of an issue for Virtus.pro. To be fair, Virtus.pro bought themselves a lot of time on that clean A, so they get to play through that bank for now. They have decent ultimates to play through. Fnatic will have to find some value on their 2 DPS ults.
Get themselves at least about 3.5 minutes if the rest of this push is going to be clean, and they're nearly up to those 5 ults. Jaro under some pressure is Duke going to be used from Knife, goes for the Diva. Pushing up into the sky, just trying to deny some of this damage away from Shockwave, which is going to go for Dupe himself. Primal now to try to be built up here by him, but Donghak pressured out. Ends up getting burned down by those rockets. Self-destruct up here onto the high ground. Not going to be able to find too much aside from a break on the dupe, which is still going to be value, especially as Izzyaki finds Sauna. A lot more damage now eliminated as all of it is taken away from VP.
Yeah, Donghak dies, so Fnatic just slowly back themselves out. They get rid of the duplication with Shockwave and then reconnect with respawning members. Because they have so much space to work through here in terms of map control, they can infinitely back out. Well, not infinitely, but they can back out all the way until they essentially have to go back to spawn, but they don't even have to do that. Just give a little bit of space. You're losing the fight, fine. Shockwave will get one from spawn. That's not going to be a real Widowmaker for the rest of the fight. He's just trying to snipe from spawn, still punished by Donghak, so you get one, but then you lose more.
With the swap, the Widow immediately punished. Just be right back over onto the Echo here, but looks like given the spawn camp, Shockwave maybe wanted to try to soften up some of these targets, try to find that pot shot, really break things open.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, he is sticking with it. Knife down to a sliver of HP as Donghak ends up falling. Rally still committed to it here by Lee Jae-gon. They're going to try to turn the tides of this fight. Beat in response, but Canal not catching that shielding, still going to be at risk. Now, sound barrier going to be taken away from them. Everybody that much more vulnerable. Shockwave getting jumped on, nearly eliminated. Looks like checkmate going to be dealt with though as Sauna is able to find that kill, finishing off the enemy Tracer.
They got Shockwave, but it's still not, sorry, they got Donghak, but it's still not enough because I don't think Widowmaker's a real hero on this map currently. So you have a situation where it's essentially 4v4 anyway. Now the cleanup's coming on through Fnatic, still have ultimates available to play through. Knife will use one of those now.
Shockwave.
And there's just not going to be any progress. 1 minute left.
Yep, dead again. Knife will fall, but there's still so much distance that has to be made up here from the side of Virtus.pro, and now the best that they can hope for is approximately going to be two-ish minutes. They still have to make their way over to the end of the map. They're still losing players. Canal, dead again. Sleep there on a recharge, just trying to get that punish.
This is the worst time for
They break the
Virtus.pro
back, they force a self-destruct.
to also go up against Donghak that has a second life where Rajaro does not, and that second life is the Primal Rage, which he's going to really be able to make matters into his own hands and get a lot of value out of it. Shockwave, you're not going to find, he might, I hope he does. That would justify this pick, and that's the shot he needs. Izzyaki should have been killed.
But it's into the shoulder, now Shockwave once again at risk, where has Donghak overstepped a little bit. Still does, of course, have that Primal Rage to rely on to get himself out to a safe position. For now, just hovering around half HP. Still, just 5 in the back lines, looking for another target. A little bit of damage coming his way, down to
dangerous.
64, and yeah, I think he's gonna have to pop this.
Can you get any healing?
Keep over to the side, Mega Pack, nope, not gonna be there. Sauna in the meantime, able to get on top of Izzyaki, finds the kill with the Pulse Bomb. Primal Rage gonna be popped. Hart slowly gliding forward, but once again, it's straight in on top of Shockwave, who's still sticking on the Widowmaker. He ends up falling. Knife will be taken down as Canale finds one, and Sauna gets a couple of headshots across to take out Lee Jae-gon before the rally can come into play. Izzyaki looking to rejoin that nano boost, just 23% away. Checkmate tucking back. Wants to grab that Mega Pack, is able to do so, has the Pulse Bomb ready to go to try to shut down this push, but the cart now getting closer and closer to beat as Virtus.pro get a second lease on life. Donghak gonna be the one that says no. Leaps over, drops the bubble, keeps the cart contested for now. The nano about to be online. Izzyaki now has it ready to go, sends it. Donghak once again gonna be the recipient, dives into the back lines, looking for a target. Rajaro the first one to fall. Break on the mech, the baby even take it down. This zaps in the Shockwave's face, and there's just nothing he can do about it. This Widowmaker is finding absolutely no value as Canal will be blown up by the Pulse Bomb, and Fnatic will successfully hold here in front of B.
Yeah, so much better, and that's even considering the mistake that I believe they had at the beginning. I do not agree with the opening Doom pick. That should have been a Winston defense. If they had the Winston defense early on, I don't even know that VP get that far in the map. So yeah, Donghak being subbed in is honestly huge. And the rest of the team played super well. I think the checkmate sub-in was also pretty large in the back of that one. VP, towards the end, I think they kind of gave up a little bit. I don't know, the Widowmaker's great to like get out of spawn, but don't play it for the rest of the map. That's weird.
Yeah, stuck with it for far too long, wasn't finding any value. And, you know, I think if you even come out of the spawn, you kill like 2 people, I could feel like those vibes, you know, that old kind of Carpe mentality of like, oh yeah, I'm clicking heads, I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to clutch. That was severely lacking. But let's go ahead and pass it back over to the analyst desk to break down Hollywood, because this series is not over yet.
No, it's not. Get off of Widow. That is definitely what I got there. Even there at the very end, Winston just like, hi, you're dead.
It's the wave of acquiescence.
Yeah. Fnatic has woken up here and not tied up the series, but got themselves the win that they sorely needed to keep this series going and spare their blushes here, as it was a very solid Hollywood. Again, they got the final cap here at the end. You're like, okay, like 17 seconds or however many seconds there were. But then Virtus.pro start rolling here and then finally get stuffed, and Fnatic hold them to get themselves the map.
Well, I got 3 reasons for it. Number 1, I think most impactful, changing Donghak in, the entire tempo just felt different. Number 2, going in, is that it was hybrid. I think this game mode, just given the experience of teams, plays way, way, way better for Fnatic. And number 3 is that, think about what Lee Jae-gon was playing. Lee Jae-gon, I don't think has had a great first 2 maps of the series. This map was way better. Why? Lee Jae-gon is on Lucio, Lee Jae-gon is on Brig. So I think you follow this line of logic. If I'm Virtus.pro, going into the next map, I ban Brig. Period. Put him back on Lucio.
I think there's still some questions I have. Like, the checkmate coming into play Tracer is a little confusing to me, mostly just because I think checkmate is a fine Tracer. Like, all 3 of these damage players can play Tracer, and they have for respective different rosters over the course of time. But Viper was considered like kind of a Tracer ace at a certain point in time. So a little questionable there. It might just be, let's get new blood in. If we're making changes, let's make changes. Avril did a great detail about why they're in the position they're in, map-wise, selection-wise, really thinking about it. I think he thought more about it than maybe Fnatic did. It might, again, be looking... Well, look, I didn't even mean that as shade, because everyone in this game is absolutely smarter than I am,
I don't
right?
know how
Like,
else that's not taking his shade, my guy.
well, because Avril thinks a lot about a lot of things. It's more of a compliment to him than it is shade anywhere.
All right.
That's
Kevin
what
the
I
Brain.
meant.
Kevin
Yes.
the Brain.
And I'm going to throw my simplistic analysis at it, too, because it's something that I think about overall.
Hex the Brain. Let's get into
No,
it.
no. Hex the rube, as it were.
Not many wrinkles there, you know.
So, yeah, smooth, man. That's why I slick my hair back to hide the smoothness of my wrinkles.
All right, let's get to your smooth point.
I think if you're a Korean team,
Yeah.
at some points you need to stop playing anything that isn't dive. And this just goes back for years and years and years and years in Overwatch. And I know this is simple and this is reductive and we shouldn't play this. But if you're just getting outbodied by these like kind of weird poke compositions and you're playing this meta, you've always been better than every Western team ever at dive. Right? Is that wrong to say for the most part? Like, it's kind of... And I also, my larger point is, I don't feel that there's enough bans or enough impactful things to do to completely get rid of dive. What are you going to do? Are you going to ban Winston, Ball, and Doomfist? And, like, there's so many ways to play that kind of composition. And, I mean, Avril's point is like, well, they might have to go to ground maps now. And again, I'm a simpleton. I think you leave Donghak in, you play some version of dive. He's such a good player, and even if it's not an ideal map for it, isn't it better than what you've been doing? Isn't there something about it? And now you've got the pacing, and wouldn't it be a morale killer if like you just came in and you got these 2 new players in and they both played pretty well, and you got something going and you tried something new, and I was like, okay, back out now. We're gonna try these weird things that haven't been working before. So it's simple to me that I think like I think it's getting overcomplicated at a point. Just play dive. And I'm just an old head, and I'm old school like that, you know, so it's like, I guess maybe that's part of it. But I think if you're a Korean team and you're struggling, play dive. You've always played it better than any Western team.
Go ahead, ZP. It looked like you had a point there.
Oh, no. For the most part, I am agreeing here. I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, what are you comfortable at? I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of nuance to this, and this is the pure on simple part here. I would say the sentiment of it, though, is pretty clear, is that, look, this worked for Fnatic. They had momentum. Even if you had other game plans in the pocket, maybe you just run with stuff like this for the rest of it. Although, again, I don't know if they will. I want to see the ban because I feel like Brig is getting banned.
So, again, what we've seen to stop the dive, it's either you ban Winston or what is the thing that empowers Winston?
I mean, you can run dive in so many different flavors.
Yes,
right?
I know that's what you've said, but the combo is clear.
Yes,
you ban Winston, you ban Anna, and that is what they've done. So VP,
that is the best version of it. Yes.
So VP, we're going Shambali. They are on attack first. They picked the first ban. The first ban was Anna. Fnatic take away Pharah. That is what we're doing.
Okay.
And no subs. Yeah, no subs for both squads. So they are staying with the same rosters.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart for Fnatic. I think especially when you're facing, well, not elimination, but you're facing losing this particular match and having a rougher stage in the group stage. I think you stay with what just won you the map, especially in this situation, especially with how the first 2 maps.
Well, the map pick also makes sense. You know, that's a tough map to dive on. It really is, and that goes to you know, Avril's point earlier too. That if you choose Escort earlier and you pick a better map for dive, as he mentioned, Dorado, much better map for dive with the verticality. That used to be Winston used to own Dorado, right? And then Eva came in and owned Dorado, and now you've got Shambali, which is like the opposite of that. That's like Sig, Ramatra territory. You can run a little D.Va, and we've already seen it done in this tournament. But yeah, I mean, that's a great point. Is what I was saying. Is I think he had a better strategy than what we've seen employed. I don't know. I might just force dive here. I might just force it because it worked. And if it doesn't work, then start switching off some stuff, I guess. But doing it without Anna is not awesome. but you could run a Brig and, I don't know, Kiri and see what happens.
You can't do that, man, after you hit
can
me
and
with
I
the
will.
double negative of like, you got to stop playing anything that isn't dive, and then be like, well, if dive doesn't work, then I guess you change it up because you're going to lose the series
Well,
overall.
I won't not stop doing that.
All right, thank you, X. Please save me. All right, Achilleos Avril, take it away. This is map number 4.
Thank you very much. Yes, map number 4, Fnatic. Taking that first step towards pulling off a reverse sweep, but we've been highlighting it. The death just reinforced it, how difficult that can be, especially given the situation of the map that is put in front of Fnatic. So we don't have any changes coming through as far as these lineups are concerned. How do they pilot this?
I mean, between myself and the desk, it's been so reinforced. We're looking to steal rebar at this stage, and for VP, I mean, I think this should be a win for them. They picked the map I expect them to go to. I mentioned, look, you don't want to pick Dorado. Great, you left Shambali open. That's your fault, unfortunately, for Fnatic. And you know what? You banned away. You've unfortunately left yourself open to a situation where Ana's going to be the ban. The next map, if we even get there, you're probably going to see Brig being banned, etc. It's just going to be a rolling through forward now. The flow chart is active. It's extremely clear what the strategy for Virtus.pro here is. And it's the short-sightedness of Fnatic. Of course, they could still win this, but they have to go uphill. This is not going to be Sisyphus pushing up the boulder. And had they been the Fnatic I expect them to come in with, and not be down 2-0 at map 3, it might be okay that we're at Shambali right now, but it's a reverse sweep, Achilleos, and we've only got 1 map out of 3 in that reverse sweep, and unfortunately, it's the easiest out of the 3 as well, because everything from here on onwards is probably going to be more difficult.
Well, if they want to pull it off, it would give us the longest game that we've had here today across both of the streams. As 3-1, that's been the maximum scoreline. No one has gotten to that 5th and final quite just yet. Can Fnatic be the team to push it to the limit? We'll find out. As for now, going to be figuring out what exactly they want to do.
Yeah, well, Lucio Kiri makes the most sense because you don't have the Ana, so Lucio Kiri is pretty decent. You have the Suzu for either the Doom or the Winston, but you don't have the Nano Boost. Nano Boost is so important to keep either your dive tanks alive, being, you know, between the Doom and the Winston, to enable those heroes to be able to get in and have some real threat, because without it, I mean, you're waiting for empowered punches, you're waiting to just like bubble someone out individually. Someone's going to play a little patiently there just to see if anybody comes out through. I think the Pharah ban's interesting. Pharah does get played here, but I don't know if that was exactly what Fnatic, or rather Virtus.pro was going to go towards. Don't mind the team names there. We'll get that fixed in a short moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the pick that comes on in. I would have actually, again, targeted the tanks. I think it's weird that Flitter and Fate continually not target ban Rajaro's hero pool, because he has one of the more limited hero pools on the side of the tank at all.
No, they have not. Well, looks like just another minor pause, so hopefully something that we can get taken care of quickly once again, and then we can get things underway. Because so far, not really seeing too much of the map.
Yeah, I mean, and VP even left it open as well, because you look at VP, they obviously are prioritizing banning away dive enablers. They don't even care about protecting tanks. So, you know, it's not about the fact that Rajaro probably could have just played something else. It's about the fact that you want to take away his #1 pick, something that's going to be effective. I just don't think they should fear the Pharah that much. Pharah, to me, is still a little overrated in this particular meta. I mean, we'll see it when we get deeper in the tournament, but I'd be surprised if by the time we get to playoffs, top 8, something like that, if Pharah was still a staple pick. So we can dive back in here, and let's see if Fnatic can get past this double flex support poke composition.
Well, hacking quite a bit of damage, and there's going to be the kill. Final little bit of the sticky bombs to go ahead and finish them off. Virtus.pro off to a roaring hot start here on Shambali, especially as Lee Jae-gon is going to be taken down. Izayaki similarly down low in HP, finished off as Shockwave finds a shot. TongHak going to be swapping over onto the ball to try to rejoin a little bit faster.
Yeah, he's one of the 2 main ball players at this tournament,
nice.
the other one being Junbin. So you talk about players that specialize on ball. People forget that this was TongHak's original love, his first love. Let's see if it works, though. I've heard murmurings of ball being played pretty reasonably good as well. Is it going to be actually good?
Ball driver in, looking for the knock-up, the setup there onto Gala, but he's able to go ahead and leap away with the shift. Playing elusively here for the time being. Knife tagged up again. Has managed to reconnect in with the rest of the team, but Lee Jae-gon's going to be taken down. Shockwave again, coming up huge, finds that elimination, and Knife now finished off. And this is looking like a Virtus.pro steamroll over here in towards this A point. TongHak taken down to a sliver. Somehow does manage to survive, gets himself a health pack, but the rest of the team is absolutely suffering.
Yeah, you're really not seeing Fnatic getting any purchase on the ball so far. I mean, the time timing and the tempo is very clear. Ball goes in, everyone goes in with the ball. And if Donghak has to leave, well, your team's just exposed. That's exactly what happens. The Virtus.pro just start picking off individual members of Fnatic. Caps come through now. And actually, you know what? A is probably the hardest point to cap on all of Shambali. So the map opens up and becomes easy for VP now.
Feels like push up into B, usually not too much of a hard time here for teams A. And then maybe right at the very end towards C. Likely where we see the most trouble, but that's going to be the bomb out. Captive Sun pop, Gala seeking target, strips it up towards the top, and I mean, just shoots it out, says, screw it. I don't really need a target. You guys keep doing a good job, keep cleaning them up, and we'll keep pushing that card. 4 minutes and 5 seconds here in the time bank, as this is going to be quite a bit of distance gained.
I mean, you can't, how do you even pile drive in here? This is so narrow, this is so small, the ceiling is not particularly high at all. Fnatic, I mean, they don't have the tempo to come in anyway, but they'd have to wait for Virtus.pro to come out onto the open B section, and they're just losing so much ground. Knife going to pressure the side flank a little bit, see if we can get something done.
A roll through, Duke going to be going through. Sana says, hey, yeah, I like the idea of the wrecking ball. Let me go ahead and copy that one, see if I can outdo you. Already, Donghak going to be taken down. Checkmate broken out of his own dupe. Legion hounded down, and that will be the kill. That'll be an accretion off screen from Riyadh to finish off Knife, and that will basically be an extended team wipe. Izzyaki now in a bad spot, nowhere to swim step out to. And it's, again, just shy of 5 minutes in the time bank as Virtus.pro are on a warpath.
This is going to be a 3-minute time bank from VP. I can already see it in the future. I mean, it's just sad for Fnatic. They had such a good map 3, but it's well documented at this stage. It explained to death why that was the case. But we're seeing now the unfortunate scenario where the short-sightedness of Fnatic is going to cost them the series. Let's see what this Flux has played.
Waiting for the pickup, comes through, gets the catch on the Legion, but the beat has already been invested in Shockwave, will get taken down. Donghak able to find that kill. Grecian gets the stun, set up here on the checkmate, but they can't quite confirm that elimination, but Canel at the same time is able to find Donghak, so once again, without their tank, without that front line, without somebody to really try to set up for these eliminations.
Here comes the Winston. To be fair, actually, maybe in the more open space, Winston can get some access over towards the back line. See, that ends up helping Fnatic. If they can actually hold here on C, there is going to be signs of life for Fnatic to maybe still get this win overboard. It's going to be a challenge, though. They've also played through. Knife is going to still snipe. There's a lot of shields over. Who's he hitting? He's dying to Sauna.
Gala falling a little bit low there. Sense of the Captive Sun. Legion going to be able to find one. Gala cleans up checkmate, but the rest of the team widely falling the wayside around him. It seems like finally Fnatic going to be able to establish some kind of... Yes, I'm going to put all I say is Riyadh is just continuing to push this card forward. Legion has to dive over to try to intercept this one. And eventually Riyadh will end up falling down, but that is so much added damage, so much unnecessary distance given over to VP that Fnatic did not have to give.
Yeah, that was you don't normally see a tank backcapping, especially not a Sigma, maybe a dive tank, but that was super weird. Fight is still continuing though, as it's going to be Fnatic getting a super aggressive Knife. Now freshly swapped over towards a Venture, another huge cleanup, and remember, Riyadh dies late, so 5v4, huge for Fnatic.
Solid fight on the back end. So far the Venture looking good as far as the damage being found. It's not very far to go with 2:55 remaining here for Virtus.pro.
I like this positioning for Fnatic, because if they want to play an all-in composition, you have to be able to intercept the rotation for VP somehow. They're going to be weak to that.
TP4, there's a Kitsune going to be coming through. Gala down to half HP, but Legion going to be the first one to fall. Sana is able to find that opening kill. Right at the feet of Knife, having the beam. They cleaned it up. Virtus.pro widely winning the fight, but they still have to get this cart moving. Legion, however, has to exit. The space is going to be surrendered.
He can't die. He cannot die here. Legion has to survive. He might have to be the first one to touch here as well. Look at the ultimates. Bomb on the final point's going to be very good.
Blade is pulled. Checkmate. Using that.
He can't even walk forward.
It's just zoning them back. The blade comes out. I mean, they do go ahead. They pull back. They stop the push from coming through. Dodges out. Moves away from that accretion. It's a dive to try to just gain control over this amp matrix, but Donghak gives his life for that. Canel does fall at the same time as a port for a tank with the faster run back, but Gala eventually finds him with the Captive Sun. Checkmate going to be taken down.
Knife has to stall here.
Trying to get out here onto a wider angle. The bomb just whittling away at the HP bar here of Izzyaki and Lee Jae. It's just a solo beat, and he cannot survive. Knife dropped by the accretion. Donghack dead. And while it might not be a 3-minute time bank, it's still pretty damn good. 1 minute and 38 seconds. Virtus.pro make it to the end.
It's just a slight change from Donghack over towards the Winston. Buys Fnatic a little bit more time. They actually start to win a couple of fights. Rajaro cutely is able to push the payload a little bit deeper in, but that does actually cost his team one more fight there, so have to be concerned about that. More concerning thing is, map is complete. And now, I'll be the one to say it. Here comes prediction. I think it's very likely Fnatic get full held here, because Shambali is probably one of the most full holdable A points in the entire game currently, especially given that Numbani's not on the pull. So, like I said, this map design is like inverse. A is the most difficult, and C is actually the easiest. Most map designs, C is the most difficult. Here, that's not the case.
Let's see what the game plan is going to be like. As you said, you know, it feels like that, you know, that foresight, that expectation, that looking down the road to see how things are going to develop in the series has been lacking. Do they have something up their sleeves here?
The other thing is, when you look at the final A, I mean, forget about the rest of it, it's all still pretty strong. When you look at the final sections of A, super long sight lines, huge high grounds to play through in that window as well. Hard for Fnatic to cover those angles. Certainly a long sight line chokeway anyway. It's going to be tough to cap. You need to win super clean fights. Ult economy, you have to extremely do well in the ult economy versus Virtus.pro. But let's talk about the Reinhardt a little bit here. I actually kind of like this change because it's something Donghack doesn't show very often. He doesn't have a lot of experience, and nor does Fnatic have a lot of experience in general playing a World Cup. This is not Space Station gaming. But the Ryan does have a pretty good matchup into the Sig, and they make it work. You know what? I think they need a sim. I think it's going to be hard to gap close without the sim. That's my opinion.
TP around. Just get that Reinhardt right up into their faces. We'll see if it's going to be an adjustment that is necessary in the end. Shockwave does take a decent amount of damage there. Fire Strike actually finds him. That one was from downtown.
Shockwave not happy with that.
Yeah, it sent that one away, and somehow Shockwave just drifting into it. Immortality Kill now going to be coming through to try to just bail out Rajaro, but there's just too much pressure being applied. This Deathball style here from Fnatic ends up working out. Cart slowly being brought up from behind. VP will have plenty of time to go for a recontest, but it's a good stop.
There goes Ram coming on through. Expected Rajaro to not stay onto the Sigma. You don't want the bad matchup. Ram can actually play comfortably into the Rhine. I think a Lucio bat would be fine as well. Gala probably needs to swap next, but I don't think he died. We should have died. And now we're opening it up for the final push here. So let's see if Virtus.pro can play any sort of range here. Fnatic still can't access high ground very well, so that should still be a point of advantage for VP.
Solid being pressured. Two players on that flank trying to force him out of position. As Izzyaki now sending out that Amp Matrix. Tucked back behind the half wall here. Mortality Field to help keep it protected as the damage continues to rain through, but has survived thus far. Jaro similarly, though, under fire, and as that Immortality Field from Virtus.pro ends up falling, so too does the tank, and so do the rest of the players here on the team. Checkmate right up into the face of Ganale, able to take him down, and now it's just Sauna trying to build up, get the rest of that dupe online, and will be able to do so. There's 4 minutes and 40 seconds now for Fnatic to play with.
And this is actually one part that I think the substitution between Viper and Checkmate is really good, because Checkmate enables the Mei. I don't think Viper's really got a good Mei in him. Not seen that in his history. Checkmate seen plenty of Mei, and it is top tier. So that is something you really need. We have to get this composition with Ryan.
Just sat here behind the wall, and Shockwave does not check over to the right-hand side. Opens it up, there's the Blizzard, just to go ahead and set it up. The bomb as well, gonna be stuck here up onto this platform. Wall comes through, Checkmate dips out, says, yep, my job here is done. Donghack in the meantime did get caught up, did get taken down, so they are without tank.
That's the problem though, right? You lose Donghack, you lose your push. Unfortunately, at the reset, you do a really great job of lurking and getting that solo play onto Shockwave. Appreciate that from Checkmate. Cannot lose Donghack for that trade. If you lose Donghack, you've wasted your ultimate, you wasted the entire play. That should have been really good for Fnatic. Unfortunately, they had the reset. Map swap side.
Way back in, yep.
Oh, not quite.
Just rotating around, still coming back up here through the main approach. These bombs to try to soften him up. Captive Sun going to be lobbed in, but shield is raised. Then I popped here, knife seeking target. Eventually, he has to just pull back, but cancel on that. 3.5 minutes now remaining in the time bank here for Fnatic. Earth Shatter online. When does he set it up? Right here, right now. Looking for Rajaro, and there's the pin. They clear on the Immortality Field. Perfectly timed from Knife to go ahead and help confirm the kill. Sonic going to be broken out of that dupe. Canal with that Amp Matrix just can't really offer up enough. They're falling to the wayside as both supports now are going to be eliminated, and Shockwave's got nowhere to go.
I think Riyadh was out of position. He was playing way too far forward, and you see how easy it was to isolate him. I'm not even talking about the pin. Just stand in front of him, put the shield up. Guess what? Now Garland Canal can't get the healing in. Riyadh, why is he standing there? That is unfortunately going to cost VP the point.
That does, and the time bank gets bumped up once again. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to try to work through.
And now, tables are turning slightly because they don't play a lot of Brawl. Didn't really expect this to be on the menu, and if it was going to come through, didn't expect it to be very good. But Donghak's going to go towards the Ram now. Doesn't really favor the Ryan versus Ram, wants to mirror the Ram. No, we haven't really seen Donghak the Ram.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of Donghak gameplay, haven't seen the Ram.
See if you can build up towards that Annihilation pretty quickly here. Rajana just have his ready to go, but it's a lone ultimate at the moment for the side of Virtus.pro. Bob nearly online, but checkmate. Another Blizzard, another Deadeye. Get that multi-freeze setup. Knife, it's going to be easy pickings for him.
Even if you just solo Rajara, I think you wall him off. Solo Blizzard, that's totally worth it.
They're all falling low. Immortality Field goes out, quickly cleared out. Gala, the first to fall. Checkmate finds that kill. Annihilation to try to keep him alive and in this fight, but only finds the Immortality Field before Donghak claims his life. Still, the DPS ultimate's online. Their own Amp Matrix nearly ready to go. Dynamite up over the top. The bomb as well. Able to find one as Legion Gun will fall. Shockwave trying to bail them out here on this defense. Kills found, but Knife answering back. Headshot there onto Canal. Knife will also fall to the bottom. Big value there for the side of the Ash, but it's cleaned up by Izayaki as the cart now swings around the final corner.
Checkmate might get staggered here. He's going to get caught out. A bunch of them will be. I don't really agree with Fnatic still playing there. Just reset. You use a window for what? Like 5 meters in the push. I don't think that's good at all because you'd want to be able to challenge Canal. Now Canal gets a solo window usage where Izayaki and Fnatic cannot challenge. It's not like they have a sound barrier either. You just have to checkmate, wall, and leave. So that's going to cost them time. It's a situation where Fnatic can get a lot done here if they have the right economy and cap in the 2 minutes remaining and have a time back advantage. But I actually think they're going to have a lesser time back now if they do finish.
We'll have to see. Legion on. Close to the beat, 19% away. Shield, but Sauna, he just places himself right in front of the crosshair. Knife says, well, thank you very much. He's happy to collect. Captain Sun, oh no, it's a monstrous whip there. Could be absolutely costly here for the side of Gala as well. His Virtus.pro overall, he's trying to contest here against Checkmate, but Knife swoops into the rescue, finds the kill. Canal now under fire. Immortality Field not going to stand a chance. It gets cleaned up. The Annihilation from Donghak rips him asunder. As a couple crucial mistakes here have costed Virtus.pro a chance at a longer hold. Blizzard onto the cart, no way to contest.
2 seconds.
And it's a 2-second difference. This is anyone's game now.
I was right, they weren't going to get the better time, but it is a very similar time. It's pretty close and almost even. A little bit of a me on Ilari moment there from Gala. To be fair, I don't know if the Captain Sun would have been the huge difference maker, but you'd love to have tried. You'd love to have seen if maybe it was going to do something, but straight into the wall, bit of a slap in the face for VP. And VP did not expect this. Unfortunately, I also did not expect this. You know, truth be told, I just didn't think Fnatic had it in them to bring out the Reinhardt, to bring out the Rand, to bring out the Brawl. It's just not something they ever play. When you look across all their games, it's not what they do. That moment again, I want to highlight Rajara. I think he was literally in the wrong spot. What's happening here? Why is Sora just flying over Knife's face? There's so many individual small things here that for VP, I mean, these small mistakes add up. That might, I'm not going to say it's going to cost them a map, but it certainly brought Fnatic in the map, when Fnatic otherwise probably shouldn't have been this far in the map at all.
Yeah, I mean, Son doesn't get caught there. That's probably another, 5-10 seconds bought if he's alive. And, maybe even more. Maybe even that snowballs into a hold if he can find a pick. But the Captive Sun, both of these things being lost, like you said, minor mistakes, snowballing out of control. Virtus.pro now at risk of letting Fnatic back into this series.
The good news is Rajah just starts on the Ram here because he's like, okay, we're not going to risk the situation where I go Sigma and the Ryan comes on through. Fnatic actually have options here. It's possible they could have started on Winston, but they don't want to risk it. They found a winning combination here. Here's a winning composition that we can use. Can we just force the Ram again, play a bit of Ram in the Virtus.pro? This is the EU special now being piloted by Korea.
The approach. Again, not that much time to work with for both teams, just 2 seconds, the difference at the start of these rounds. Pressure now coming through, trying to wall off Rajaro, but he's able to tuck back around the corner, keeps himself safe for the time being. Still decent amount of damage being pushed out, but Immortality Field's going to be forced here from the side of Fnatic as they backpedal and try to stay alive. Izayaki, however, incredibly fast. Has that Amp Matrix ready to go. Canale just now hitting 50%.
Here comes Window.
Shield raid, Amp Matrix coming through, and they're likely just going to have to surrender this high ground, so everybody dropping down. That nullifies the Amp Matrix, but it's still going to be space and distance given up.
They haven't got a kill yet, and they haven't got any pressure on the payload. In fact, payload's moving backwards. It's a decent window timing. What are they getting out of it? Can they get a kill now? Finally, Lamp has been destroyed.
Once again, wall coming up, just trying
Payload's
to catch somebody out, but yeah, Payload's not advancing forward. Gala, he's actually pulling the trigger here on this ult. Had a sliver of HP, but decides to send it. And now 2 kills found. The support's dead. Shockwave Gala, 1 apiece the headshots. And that'll damn near be the cleanup. Only checkmate left standing as it's 15 seconds left.
I mean, Fnatic got nothing out of that priority. Somebody has to push. Please, one person be pushing at that moment to at least get some payload distance. They got nothing out of that play.
Now, Wall again, just trying to cut off Rajaro, but there's just no hope and help for that to happen. The dupe is out. Sana gets the copy here onto another Ramantra, instantly broken out, but no one can make their way over to the card. And this one is a comedy of errors as Fnatic cannot get any distance. Rajaro saying, yes, C9, you guys didn't push the cart.
Technically true, but as a member of the certified member of the C9 Council, I'm a little dubious on. Personally will not certify the C9 on that one, unfortunately denied as I slam my gavel down. But speaking of, something I want to slam gavel down on towards is, wow, Fnatic. How do you go from having that high of a lead when Izyaki's sitting on a window and Canale's not even close? That is, by the way, off the back of Fnatic absorbing all the damage, backing out, no one dying, and huge AoE healing from Izyaki, just pumping those numbers up into a situation where you don't really get any push. I mean, the idea is you window, you wall somebody off, you get at least a couple of kills, and then you don't have to really chase. You start going back towards the payload and you start pushing again. Here, you have a situation where you don't get any kills, you chase really hard, you lose the fight, and no one pushed the payload. And you actually saw, was it Sauna, I believe, that was on the Echo previously? He actually rotated back over towards the spawn of Fnatic to stop anyone from pushing the payload anyway. So they knew, it's like, he's probably confused, like, no one's pushing, question mark? So now I think VP are in the command. Look at me, look at where the winning box is. It's like right there.
They're so close to victory. Let's see if Fnatic can pull off basically a miracle. They drop down, telling us that they do in fact know what the cart is. They get tested there for a brief little moment. 3.81 meters to go. And so far it's just a pylon, a casualty. Wall raised, trying to get a catch here once again, trying to isolate, but it doesn't work out. Rajaro manages to make it back to the opposite side. It's Virtus.pro playing ring around the rosy, swooping across. Pin not going to be found. Cart again, inching forward as they have to drop down. That's a kill though, as Lee J Gunn will fall. The beam coming across, Donghack dead. Sauna collecting them all, the 3-piece, and that will do it. Virtus.pro set themselves up for success nice and early, and they managed to seal the deal. 3-1, yep. They take down Fnatic.
Coach Smash there in the back, he's like smiling in happiness.